This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
I wouldn't use happy as the feeling that I currently possess. Honestly, I just felt like very rarely as a mid-major are you afforded opportunities to play against high-major opponents, especially on neutral floors. And although I feel like it's a very risky move, a lot of trepidation, simply because we lost so many experienced players that were really good. And I think our freshman class is terrific. But to throw them to the wolves like this is there used to be a skit or Saturday Night Live. They used to have the not ready for prime time players. I'm a little afraid that we're going to be posing as that crew. But again, I think the opportunity is you get a great chance to see what you're not, and you'll be measured against some really good programs led by some tremendous coaches. And I think our guys are excited to be a part of it. I think it's a real privilege to be a part of both tournaments. As was Bubbleville, we felt like this was a great opportunity after our second consecutive game, and Bubbleville was changed.
You mentioned that this team is much deeper than it's been in years past, and it's working toward the depth that you've always envisioned. With 4 games in 5 days, is this a good way to test that depth, get those guys acclimated for what it's going to be like throughout the season playing good quality opponents?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, you want to get the freshmen as many minutes as you can, quality minutes especially. But also there's some guys in our program that have waited to play, like Blake Preston and Josh Price and Shiloh Robinson. So I feel like everyone's going to be afforded an opportunity, and just hoping that we can stay healthy before, during, and obviously after the events.
Hey, Coach, what are you looking for from your team in these first couple of games? And is there, I guess, a pandemic learning curve, since everyone's kind of going through that right now?
Yeah, no doubt. I think every head coach and coaching staff is in the same boat. We have no idea what to expect in terms of what we haven't covered, what we haven't addressed, who is much more game ready than they are practice oriented. Those are variables that you can't predict. And in a normal year, you have scrimmages and or exhibitions to at least get a little bit of a peek of a window inside what you're not. But obviously, because of the pandemic, this is a little different navigation barometer. And the other thing, David, is, man, you have this angst almost that the ball could drop any second, and either someone in your program or someone on your schedule, an opponent on your schedule, could unfortunately contract it or be contact traced, and all of a sudden it's. So I think it's difficult, especially for the 18 to 22-year-olds, but also for some of us old coaches. So we're trying not to take for granted to be grateful for the opportunity that is in front of us.
For us to follow up, I guess in that vein, you could kind of approach it as every game is like a game in March.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, realistically, we have 27 games on our schedule. The likelihood of all 27 being played on the dates in which they're originally scheduled is very slim. And having been through what we've been through since the letdown of not being able to participate in the NCAA tournament, I think our guys, again, have a deep appreciation for one game for 40 minutes.
Hey, Coach, John Manson.
John, how you doing?
Just doing good, Coach. Hope you are as well. You kind of alluded to the tough schedule here to start the season off, and you got a lot of new pieces, some young freshmen and grad transfer there in Chris Parker. Do you think that maybe a week from now you'll be glad that you kind of, record withstanding, I know, but do you think you'll be glad a week from now that you've kind of gone through this, because you'll know a lot more about your team than you do today?
Yeah, real talk, John. There's really this is a no-lose proposition for us. Like you follow it closely enough, and I'm talking to guys on the call that understand the dynamics of college basketball. Because of our success, we've built a little bit of an expectation from our fan base that we belong in the conversation with other high major programs. And although I think we're certainly pursuant of that, I think last year's team, which was much better equipped for a 4-game scenario that is in front of us. However, I do think the residual of playing really good people, really good programs, is that you get tested and you get a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like if you're ever gonna, if you qualify or you're fortunate enough to qualify for the NCAA tournament or postseason, you're gonna play against somebody really good. And for us, here's an opportunity that we'll, if we are fortunate enough to advance to March Madness, we'll know what it looks like. We did that in the year we won in the NCAA tournament. I think that year we played Vanderbilt, UCLA, Alabama, and Georgetown. So I do think this is healthy for our program.
Is that it?
Dave, Spencer, no questions?
I have one more. I know you talked about this on Media Day, and I know you guys have the ribbon cutting today for Liberty Arena. Can you give us just a sense of how different it is like to at least be on that court and play there? I get it, it's the same court as it is on any court, but being in that environment, even with no fans, what is that like for you guys? Yeah,
we've only practiced there a couple of times, and I can just tell you it's such a privilege, such a blessing to have an arena that is state of the art. I mean, it's spectacular. Our guys, you can see them looking up in the rafters, pointing out different features in the arena. It's a beautiful place, and I fortunately had the privilege of being at John Paul Jones Arena. I think it was only 5 or 6 years old when I got there, and when we first got there, there was just a couple of thousand fans per game, and having seen Coach Bennett build it the way he did, to now it's an incredible home court advantage. I think the intimacy of the new Liberty Arena has some has an opportunity to really create a great home court advantage. Although, albeit it won't be this year until obviously we get this pandemic under control. But man, I think we feel really honored and privileged that we get to be one of the occupants in that facility.
Well, it seems like you and JMU have taken some pages out of the playbook from UVA. What do you think sets your arena apart from others, especially in the Commonwealth where we're seeing some new places getting built?
Well, I haven't seen JMU's. Obviously, I've been to JPJ, and I just think the intimacy of ours. There's 4,000 seats. There's not a bad seat in the venue. There's a club level or suite level as well as a courtside club. I think it'll be attractive for every fan, regardless of your demographic, to have an experience, and really excited about it. And excited for Flames Nation to be able to be a participant in our rise in women's basketball and volleyball as well.
Coach, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
No, sorry, John. I didn't interrupt you. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Coach, you've gotten the ability to see your freshmen play. What could some of us outsiders hope to expect here in the next week or so?
John, I never consider you an outsider. So now, I don't quite know what to expect. That's the beauty of this coaching thing that we're in. There's some unpredictability in it, and some things surprise you, some things maybe concern you. But I really love what Jonathan Jackson's been great. He's shot the ball at a really high clip. He's slowed a little bit this week. Just had to sit out because of not symptoms, but had to sit out for I can't speak to the injury, but and then McKay Abi has been a pleasant surprise. Drake Dobbs he's really good, and Isaiah Warfield. All 4 of our freshmen have a chance to play. They're in our top rotation. Chris Parker, I'm really excited about the grad transfer from Arkansas State, or Henderson State in Arkansas. So I think our old is going to blend well with the new.
Hey, Coach, going back to the schedule for a little bit, one of the quirks this year, especially because of the pandemic, is when we get to conference play, back-to-back games on the same court. Does that change anything as far as your preparation goes, knowing you're going to face the same team, within 24 hours of each other each weekend?
Yeah, good question, Dave. I really don't know. Hard to say. We've never done it. Never played a team back-to-back within 24 hours. So new terrain for us. Yet, again, I think we all have to just be flexible. Look, we're granted 24 hours each day, and let's make the most of them. And worrying about the fairness of it or it's in inequity, that's just not me. So I hope, though, that we get the conference season in. I do think there's one caveat to playing Friday, Saturday is if indeed games do get canceled in the non-conference, there is a small window to reschedule those games on a Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday early in the week, if it can be worked out with an opponent that had games canceled too. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise, who knows? But right now, Dave, I haven't thought much more than Travion Williams and Thompson and Stefanovic and Wheeler, not to mention their freshmen. So I'll worry about those other games at the turn of the year.